Oyelayo-Pearson. I head up our commerce, consumer, and gaming product vertical. What that essentially means is that it's my job to do two things. One, we look at how do we use Mysten Labs technology to kind of showcase what's possible. So we build our own applications. We dog food our own products. And then the other thing that I do is I spend a lot of time looking at the ecosystem. What do people need to build? What tools are they looking for? What problems are they trying to solve? And in your case, when you're thinking about bringing us great gaming ideas and gaming opportunities, how do we give you the best possible setup for your game using our technology? So today, as the talk says, I'm going to talk to you about how to build your game on Sui. I'm proud to take the mantle of also including a bit of a game demo that we've actually built. For those of you who are already familiar with Sui, some of this will be like ABCs, right? We're going to go back to basics, and we're going to talk about some of the foundations. But we're also going to talk about some of the elevations and potentially the ways in which you can work with some of the incredible people outside. Where do I stand to avoid that? Am I okay? Okay, right here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is make sure the clicker works. Make sure. Okay, wonderful. So, as Erin says, gaming's next big evolution has already begun. So we had for a very long time a very simple model for gaming, which was pay to play. You had to buy the games, you had to buy the devices, you kind of had to invest in gaming, which is great. It was a wonderful era. We all had the best possible kit that we could, but it didn't scale very well. Very, very high customer acquisition costs. Sometimes the games, you kind of like had developers that built and left it, and then it kind of felt like it faded into the dark, and you weren't really sure if they were going to come out with a new one or an upgrade. So we moved forward. We moved into a free-to-play era, which is great. Things are on your mobile, on PCs, web-based. And suddenly now everybody's welcome and everyone can come in. But then you've got this other problem where like either there's like tons of ads in your face and makes like a really, pretty rubbish gaming experience. Or as a game developer, you're looking at really, really high costs acquiring new users and very, very low retention. So if you spent a long time pouring your energy into a game and you live on this free-to-pay model where you're trying to monetize in like small, micro, traditional Web 2 ways, you're struggling to really get that value over the long term. And yes, there's a lot more measurability, there's a lot more tooling available in the free-to-play world, but it's like a content treadmill. It's like the TikTok generation. It's like, what's next? I want to try this, I want to try that. The competition heats up, and actually, for the gamer and the game developer, that connection doesn't really work. And so the evolution that we're in right now, and it's already started, as we've mentioned, it's an obvious one, is the play to own, right? It's the world where you own your connection to the game, you own assets in the game, you own the relationship that you want with the game, and whether it's pay to play or free to play, you're actually taking ownership of the way in which you interact with the game. And for game developers, there are also lots more creative ways for you to think about building new levels, new layers into your gaming experience. And Sui was ultimately designed for that, right? So as we already know, I don't want to talk to you about block speed. I don't want to talk to you about TPS. It's like, okay, it's just internet infrastructure, okay? It's fast. It works for the internet. It's designed to be on the internet. It's designed to do all the scaling that you expect from internet technology. So we're going to put down these blockchain arguments about whether or not it's going to scale and how much it costs. It's also really high performance. We've already had millions and millions of transactions. We've broken all the records that you need to see about blockchains. And it's designed with a programming language that gives you a little bit more security, which again, if you pay attention to Web3 in the last few weeks, that native inherent security concept is super important because it doesn't come for free when you're using blockchain technology. Now let's talk about what that means, because for a lot of people who've been looking at Web3 gaming, they think about, oh, I'll have an NFT. You'll own an NFT for a character. Okay, fine. But on Sui, it's not just a simple NFT. Now this is an example of one of our favorite projects, the first one that we brought to life on Sui, which is the Sui Friends NFT collection. And on the face of it, it is just an NFT collection. But actually, because of Sui's object centricity, these NFTs had so much more to them. Rich descriptions, lots of ways in which you could put them together. You could put accessories on them. You could mix two Sui Friends together to create a new third Sui Friends. You could create generation trees where the parents of every Sui friend were remembered. You could put badges on your Sui friend. We did collaborations with some of the people that you see outside, like NHN, Baby Shark, where you could buy accessories in their IP and in their branding for your Sui friends. And this richness, this ability to express with an object on chain. That doesn't come for free in every blockchain, but that's what Sui does. It gives you extra superpowers for you to build your game economy and your game creativity around. We also think that creator control actually really matters, right? So I think there's a concept a lot of people have around like Web3. It's like, death to the man. We're gonna like decentralize the internet. Nobody's in charge. But dude, are you working for free? I don't think so. People need to get paid. Policies need to be respected. Regulations need to be met. Are your games being played by kids? Are people safe? So you have to also be able to create policies around your assets. And this is something that Sui also supports you with. It allows you to say what's possible, what's not possible, when it's possible, how often, in what circumstances, and with whom. And those decisions are critical because if you're here for the long term, if you've put 5 years into building a game and you want to be here in 5 years, you want to be talking about hundreds of millions of users, you have to be able to be distributed globally by all of these different platforms, all of these different countries, all of these environments. And so being able to put your policies on chain is actually fundamental to how your game evolves. And then the final thing that I'll talk about before I go into game is just this idea of real people. Like, forget wallets. I'm so bored. We talk a lot about keys and management and cryptography, and I appreciate that tech foundation, but honestly, I could not explain TCP/IP to you, and I don't care. As a user of the internet, it's never mattered to me that that's the foundation of the tech. What's actually mattered to me is the accessibility of the solutions. So when we talk about users first, we put a really high bar on user experience. When we acquired the Sui name service and we changed the format from .sui to @name, we created a model for you to create a community around your product. Koi Club, Lola @Koi Club, that's my wallet address, that's my wallet name. That becomes my identity, my ability to still have privacy on chain, but connection on chain, humanity on chain, realness on chain. And this screenshot here is part of a new experience we'll be bringing out later this year, where you can actually go look at a name, you can actually go look, almost like a Wikipedia page. Who are all the people inside this community? Who are all the humans? Who are all the participants? Maybe they're not even humans, but they represent activity, they represent connection, and they represent community. So, show, don't tell is a principle, right? So I'm going to show you how we've put this together in an example game. Now, we're not game devs, but we built a game. Actually, before I get to that, a bunch of people that you'll be able to meet here today and people you'll speak to are launching in 2025. So Evan mentioned at the beginning of this day that these are all companies that we're no longer talking about what they're going to do, they're actually going to show you. And I want to call out the Pebble City folks who are here today. There's an incredible demo. In just a few weeks since launching Pebble City casino game, they've almost got to 1 million transactions on chain. Right? Their business model, the work they've put in, and we've worked really closely with them over the last year, the sweat, the equity has really paid off. And so that's the kind of support that that's the kind of experience and outcome that we're looking to enable on Sui. So with that, let's talk about a game. So we like capybaras, by the way. That's our spirit animal. So we built Capybara Fusion as a way to demonstrate in very, very simple ways how you can build a game completely on Sui. Right? And so, unfortunately, I couldn't do a live demo, so I recorded one, and now I'm going to try and talk you through it. There may be some technical hiccups, but I'm working on it, okay? Bear with me. The game essentially is about a Capyverse, a sort of a scenario where all the capybaras live together, but there's a lot of damage. And so they've got to collaborate with each other, and they've got to complete some quests and do some activities in order to repair their world. So, let's kick this off. This is their world. We've got a damaged windmill, we've got a greenhouse with broken glass, we've got various little bits around. There's a house there that needs to be fixed. And then we've got a little quest icon at the top there that you're going to press. And we're going to see that we actually need to reconstruct the windmill. And we've got different assets that we have that have different journeys and upgrade paths, and they do different things. And you can basically use these assets to help repair the windmill. So you need one of those, donate it. You need one of the spanner or wrench, if you're American, I guess. Donate that as well. And you've completed your quest. Super simple. You've helped to repair the windmill. And in helping to repair the windmill, you've now earned an upgrade. So the windmill goes from being broken to now being fixed. And guess what? With your upgrade, you get a new character. Lots of strength. Dina's super strong. And everything we've just done, super simple things, but is actually represented on chain. So you can see all of the activity there at the bottom, including from other players. There's also a quest ongoing, a stargazing festival, something else that people want to do. And we're missing a scope. So let's keep that in mind for later. So now we're back, we've got our windmill, we've got Dina there, and we've got, a gift from somebody called JDino. So JDino has actually given us a gift, and we're able to kind of pay some money, spend some money to see what gift we're gonna get. And we're gonna pick one of those items. Which one's it gonna be? There we go, we get a telescope. And we've collected that telescope now. All of this is going into our wallet, but the wallet is not interfering with our gameplay. We're not signing transactions constantly. And we've got a new asset here. So we've got a piece of wood that would eventually become maybe a boat, and we can collect that as well. And so as we're doing all of these things, we're thinking about, there's another quest. And so we've got another opportunity to repair a tree from our wallet. We can take an item that matches and we can put that in. They need 2 more. That might come from other players. So we're going to donate that asset. But also we can put the things we've collected into our little war chest so that we can add them in. So we've got the scope, we've got a few pieces of wood that we've added, and we can put them in there as well. There we go, extra wood. We had a lot of wood. I'm going to stop collecting the wood. And now we're going to go back to our view, our activity view. And you can see the star scope that we just picked up is there. And so we can now donate it. And whoop, we've completed the quest along with the rest of the community. Now that was so simple, really basic gameplay. But what I wanted to do to show you is literally how we brought to life all of those elements. So these are all dynamic, nestable, and composable assets. Every single one of those assets has one state and then layers of state that come after it. So it can go from a piece of wood to a speedboat, all through different elements of gameplay. Every single one of those items can be combined. In a quest, they can be combined with other items, and so you essentially can nest them. And you can put them in any way that you like. And I wasn't able to show you, but everything that I did in the game actually was a live transaction. So for the testnet view, you could go on to one of the explorers on Sui, and you would have seen every single step, every capybara that was minted, every asset that was added to my wallet, every single transaction. So completely all based off what's happening on chain. The other thing is this idea of upgrading. That doesn't exist on other blockchains, but it's such a key part of gameplay. Like, you want to upgrade, you want to feel like I'm getting better, I'm developing skills, I'm doing more things, I'm unlocking access to new things, new assets, new ways of doing stuff. That's natively available on Sui, and so you can play the upgrade game to any asset at any time, within any format of conditions that suit you. And then, as I mentioned, this idea of monetization, we have something called kiosk. Kiosk is essentially a container you put your assets in. So you can choose to create digital assets that can just be sent peer-to-peer, traded, nothing happens, they're just a simple on-chain asset. Or you can put them inside a kiosk, and what a kiosk does is it protects whatever monetization or policy strategy that you want to have around your asset. And so it makes it possible for you to say, I actually want it to be traded in this way, and I don't want it to be traded in that way. So it gives you a really strong confidence level about what happens inside your own game economy, but if you choose to open your game economy to assets on other marketplaces, how those marketplaces are allowed to handle your assets. Royalties. Not a marketplace's job to decide that you can or can't receive them. That's your job, right? Closed loop tokens. We talk about points in games all the time. Jewels, XPs, berries, pears, peas, you name it, whatever you like. Call it whatever you like. What you basically have is a fungible asset that you also want to have guardrails around. So just like NFTs, but for fungible tokens. You can call it what you like, but you get all the same benefits of being able to use it in your game economy in a way that's flexible to you. And as an added benefit, you can choose to allow list other game economies that you may want to also participate in your closed loop tokens. Do you have a partnership with a brand? Do you have a partnership with another game? Do you want to share your user acquisition? You can say, okay, well, my game and your game, we'll create a swap. We'll put it on, you'll use one of the decentralized exchanges on Sui. They'll create preferable swaps from my currency to your currency, meaning our gamers can share their assets and take them a little bit further. And then we talk about this idea of protecting gamer flow, right? I hate the idea of asking someone to remember 12 phrases or to get a key just because they wanted to get an NFT or level up in a game, and you're interrupting their game flow, so don't do that. And we've got a bunch of tools here that allow you to basically keep the gamers in game flow. You know how hard it is to acquire the gamer. We want to make sure you keep them for as long as possible. And so these assets, these tools, these capabilities are built to simplify that experience for you. And this is, again, just that rich view of the SWE-NS. I really like this. I saw this just the other day that the team is building. It's just a really nice way to bring your game economy to life. It's like these are all the people who are participating and have got a subname from SWE-NS in your game. And it's not just that. Not shown in the game that I just showed you are time capsules. Give them out today as NFTs, reveal them at any date in the future that you like. Encrypted assets allow people to protect some assets and therefore reveal them only when certain conditions are met. True randomness on chain, and again, game developers know randomness doesn't come for free, nor is it often true randomness. You get that on SWE, and so much more. And later this month, you're also going to get Walrus. So the Walrus decentralized storage protocol will allow you to think about how do you give your gamers easy ways to store their game assets, to store their gameplay. Is it to store their records? Is it to store something else that's coming from your world? Is it to store, AI models that they've built while they're playing your game? Whatever it is, you can use Walrus for that. Ditch all of the other stuff. And interestingly, you'll be able to use Walrus to coordinate those assets on SWE. So if you want to think about storage being something that you want to put into your gameplay, you will be able to do that on SWE. And finally, we've got a bunch of products and partners that can help you. So from Mysten Labs, we have Inoki. We've recently acquired Parasol. Both of these provide incredible tooling, API keys, really simple ways to think about building on chain without being a cryptography expert and without knowing all about Move language, so you don't have to worry about that. But we're also working with incredible partners like Snag, Beamable, Venly, Forge, who you can meet outside, who can build at any level that you're ready for. So you want to bring your own backend, do you want them to help you with the backend, do you want to integrate a marketplace, whatever help you need, we're also working with these guys, and everything I've just talked you through, they will be able to help you execute on stage. So in summary, this is how you build your game on SWE. Go beyond NFTs, use kiosks and closed-loop tokens, think about gamers, not wallets, build your game flow using our tools, but make it more interesting for them, and build for success. Don't feel like you have to do it on your own. Use the network, use the tools that we've built for you, and hopefully be incredibly successful on SWE. I will be around for the rest of the day. If you want to have any questions or talk to me about anything at all with regards to your game, commercializing it, or even what we've got coming up later this year, find me. Thank you very much.